So first, I'll be talking about some common vocabulary uh, related to academics, which is like school subjects. So first, we learn English language arts in school, and there we also learn about reading, which we learn through reading books. In a school year, we read like many books in class and also for homework, and then we talk about it in class. And for writing, we usually write a lot of essays every year in school. It's a little boring, but it's good practice. Next is grammar, which is the system we use to like structure our sentences. It's a bit confusing, but once you learn it for many years, then you can start to understand English and how to speak it and write it. Yeah. And next is speaking. We also give presentations in class, so we would prepare it, and then we'll go up into class and then talk to the whole class and the teacher. And for listening, this is something that we do not only in English class, but also in all the classes when we listen to our teachers' lectures and listen to what they have to teach us. So, I have a question for you guys. You can answer it in the poll, which you can find in the bottom right of the Google Meet under activities, or you can just type it in the chat. How long have you been learning English? And there are 6 options. Ooh, that's very long. 5 to 7 years, 7 to 10 years, more than 10 years. Oh, 6 years. More than 10 years, 5 years. More than 10 years, 2 years. 7 to 10 years. 1 to 3 years. 5 years. 6 years. 3 to 5 years. Well, that's pretty cool. We all have a different amount of years that we have been learning English. 5 to 7 years? Okay. Next we have mathematics, but most people just call it math. Oh, that's cool. I think math is very complicated, but it is interesting sometimes. So first we have algebra, which is the really basic math with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, as well as we learn about like fractions. And to the left we have the quadratic formula. So I think most people will start learning algebra pretty early. And next we have geometry, which is the subject that we learn about the different shapes and how to find volume and area. And for trigonometry, you learn about the angles and also the sine, cosine, and tangent. We all have different opinions. Some people think math is really interesting and some people think it's boring. Okay, raise your hand if you guys have learned geometry in school, like about the different shapes. Oh, seems like a lot of people have their hands raised. Like about 12 people? Well, that's pretty cool. If you haven't learned it yet, then you will soon. Okay, and next we have calculus, which is a more advanced math. It's much harder than the other ones, and you learn about different subjects like limits, derivatives, integrals. It's really complicated. I'm still learning it in school, so. And then finally we have statistics, and in that we learn about data and probability. And so we can use it for a lot of things, like finding out how many percentage of people like a certain thing. Well, that's okay, Bella, but we still all learn math even if we don't like it. We still have to learn it. And next we have science. In science, one of the science is biology, and you study cells and organisms, like living things, like we're humans and we're living. And also in chemistry we study like the chemical formulas and yeah and compositions, and also about the different properties of compounds. Physics, we learn about matter and energy and how the universe works. So one of the forces that we learn is gravity, which is what keeps us like standing on the ground and not floating around in space. And astronomy, we learn about the space, so like the universe, the planets, the sun, stars. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't learn about it as much in school. So I have another poll question, or you can answer it in the poll in the bottom right in activities, or you can just type it in chat. What is your favorite science? Is it biology, chemistry, physics, or astronomy? You hate all of them? Well, which one do you hate the least out of the four? Barry likes biology. Yeah, you can study like...
But what if you hate all of them at a similar level?
Well, just pick one. Just pick one.
Okay.
So we have a few people liking biology. Oh, astronomy. Chemistry. Chemistry. Astronomy. Oh yeah, biology is interesting. You don't like science? Oh, that's okay. Oh, astronomy and biology. Oh yeah. Does anyone else want to say what their favorite science is? Oh, biology. Organic chemistry. Oh, astronomy. Yeah, the space is pretty cool. And to think that we live in like one small galaxy and like there's so much more that we have not seen. I think it seems like most people like biology. Yeah, science is very interesting. Like there's a lot to study yet that we have not known about yet. Biology, astronomy, biology. Okay. And moving on, we'll be talking about social studies, and I will hand the microphone over to Cam.
Okay. Okay, so social studies is something you might learn in school, probably do. It's also known as history or world study. Yeah, so it involves history, geography, all of that kind of stuff. Geography is like where everything is in the world. So you learn like the capitals, states, provinces, stuff like that, like landmarks, continents. Yeah. If you get more in depth, there are civics, like elections, who's the president, the prime minister, like voting, the government, and there's economics, which is the economy. There's a saying in America, or I don't know if it's from America, but supply and demand. We're capitalist, and if there's more supply, then demand is high. So if someone wants something, then the supplier is gonna make something. If that makes sense. So yeah, economics is like stocks, what's doing well, inflation, the dollar bill, stuff like that. Physical education, also known as PE. It's like getting your blood flowing, all of that. Sports, yeah. Physical education, it can be in a gymnasium. It's a building for indoor sports like badminton, handball, basketball, field hockey, stuff like that. A pool, there's an indoor pool, there can be an outdoor pool. It has diving, water polo, swimming, stuff like that. And there's like a court. It's for outdoor sports, which there's also outdoor basketball, outdoor tennis. There can be outdoor soccer. Or wait, court. Yeah, it's mostly basketball and tennis. And then a field it usually has grass on it, and it's for also outdoor sports. It can be soccer, football, baseball, golf, and the grass can be fake, like it wasn't made naturally, if that makes sense. Um, yeah. So the Olympics are actually happening right now, and some of these sports are in the Olympics, like basketball, volleyball, water polo. Water polo is like soccer and it's mostly handball, but in the water you have a ball and you're trying to throw it into the opponent's goal. There's American football, which is basically handball, but you try to get the ball to the other side and without getting tackled, like without someone pushing you. There's baseball, and then there's golf. More Olympic sports, gymnastics. In America we call it soccer. Swimming, diving, water sports. There's tennis. Um, there's also canoeing and karate. Yeah. Okay, so I want you guys to put in chat what sport or where do you like to play your sport that you like? Is your sport in a gymnasium, on a court, on a field, or in the water? So I'm seeing badminton, so badminton is usually in the gymnasiums. So yeah, the sport would be in a gymnasium. Yeah, so ping pong it's usually an indoor sport, so it'd probably be in a gymnasium. You like to play tennis? Yeah, tennis is usually on courts outdoors. Yep, a lot of badmintons. Yeah, water polo is my favorite as well. Yeah, water polo is usually in the water. Well, yeah, that's kind of obvious. Yeah, swimming's in the water. Field, yep. Alright. Is there another slide? No.
Okay, and the last main subject we have in school is fine arts. And so this includes the arts such as like drawing and sketching. I think a lot of people do that, but I'm one of the people who cannot really draw very well. And also another thing that's an art is ceramics or pottery, which you can use your hands to like make different things such as flower vases or cups. Yeah, it is pretty cool, but I've never learned it before. And painting is you use different colors and paints and just make a picture, paint a picture. And also music is considered an art. So in my school we have a band, and in the band there are different instruments that are played such as the flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, tuba, saxophone, percussion, euphonium. There's a lot of different instruments. And we also have an orchestra, which is more specifically for string instruments like violin, viola, cello, bass. And I know in some schools there's a choir, which people who like to sing can meet up and then they can perform and practice singing together. So, I have a question for you guys. Do you play an instrument? Yeah, choir is hard to pronounce. It's like choir, but yeah.
It's not pronounced how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. It's really English is confusing like that. Like, I thought it was pronounced choir, like, when I was 6.
Honestly, I kind of thought the same as well. But then, like, someone started calling a choir, and I was like, wait, that's
And I
how
was
it's
like,
pronounced? Wait,
yeah,
that's how it's pronounced?
that literally happens like at least once a month where I learn how something is pronounced in English because the spelling is always so off.
Yeah, English is very weird. I think,
It's complicated.
yeah. It seems like most people do play an instrument. Yeah, I think most people do play the piano because uh, it's a pretty simple instrument to learn. Does anyone else play anything other than piano? I know Barry said he played flute and piano. That's cool, playing two instruments. Oh, bass. Is that like the string instrument or like a guitar? A bass guitar? Oh, drum set. I played that for like 2 years, but I forgot how to play now. Oh, recorder. I learned that in school too. Yeah.
Yeah, the recorder was super annoying because it was like mandatory, and like in like winter and spring they'd force you to play awful songs.
Yeah, and if you play really badly, it's very high pitched. Oh, the ukulele. It's like a small guitar, but it's not. I know a lot of people play that. Violin and erhu. That's really cool. The keyboard. That is very similar to a piano, but it's a lot more like different settings, and yeah, that's really cool. Does anyone have any other instruments to share? Okay, and finally, there is performing arts, which includes theater and drama. So in my school, a lot of people who participate in this, they do many practices, and sometimes there are musicals where they would sing songs and dance at the same time, acting out a story. Yeah. And I have one final question for all of you guys. What is your favorite subject in school? You could type it in the chat, or you could unmute and say it if you want. Oh, computer? Science. PE. Oh, math. Art is pretty fun. PE, English, science, math, and then PE. Science, English, lunch. Lunch is not an official subject. Oh, Chinese, yeah. Art. You don't really like Chinese, but you have to speak it every day, right? Oh, science, history, PE, English language arts. So we all like different subjects. History, math and computer science. Lynn Alton. I'm not sure what ZZZ is. I hope you don't mean you like sleeping in school. Math, PE,
Yeah,
and history.
I hope you guys don't actually sleep in school.
Okay, I think it's time to move on to the next section. Oh, here we have a thank you slide. Thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions, you can email me or Cam.